Dames en here, baie welkom by Sê Jou Sê met Val Weekblad. Hierdie is die eerste episode van 'n lang reeks waar ons lekker gaan saamgesels oor harde nuus, aktualiteitsake, sport, kuns en vermaak, alles vanuit jou omgewing in en om die Vaal driehoek. Besoek ons asseblief by valweekblad.com of kyk na ons Facebookblad, Vaal Weekblad, waar ons al die jongste nuus met jou gaan deel. Vandag se eerste storie gaan oor die ineenstorting van die Mfuleni plaaslike munisipaliteit se infrastruktuur. Ons gaan vir die volgende paar episodes kyk na die absolute verval as ook die redes hiervoor. Kyk gerus saam na deel 1 waar ons kyk na Mario Melani Drive en Peacehaven in vereniging.
Well, over the last 7-8 months, there definitely has been some improvement. The main lines are a little bit more open, which has allowed a lot of the sewage to drain away, which has definitely made improvements. At least it's not literally flowing down the streets. Well, at least not everywhere. So at least we're not living with an intolerable smell. But unfortunately, there is still a lot of problems in the area in the sense that there's just 20 years of maintenance that hasn't really been done, and now they're trying to play catch up, which at least it's helped, but it's not entirely better. The worst was last year, pretty much almost the entire year, that we were literally having to dig channels through my personal home, which is next door to the business, where we literally were digging channels in the gardens to actually drain the sewage out, because every manhole in the entire suburb was just overflowing. The impact was definite, but we were lucky enough that we still have our regulars that have been supporting us. But it's a bit difficult when people come in and go, "Oh no, great place, but terrible smell." And there was a restaurant down the road that literally had to move because they're right next to a sewage, one of the sewage overflows, and their business just tanked. So, there's that thing of, just nobody wants to have a nice meal sitting there with literally a river of sewage running down the road next to them. Unfortunately, like I actually said, I think this suburb's almost like a little bit of a forgotten suburb in the sense of there's just basic service delivery. There's long periods where there'll just be no refuse collection. And then all of a sudden it'll start up again and then disappear for 3-4 weeks, no refuse collection. Electricity, on multiple occasions, our power goes out for up to 3 weeks at a time, which, from us on a business point, we're running on a generator for extended periods of time, which means there is no reason to run the business, because you basically just run at a loss because everything's going on fuel.
Stay tuned for more, as this is still a developing story. Coming up next, Etienne van Rensburg and Hunty Pretorius from Vaal Weekblad recently visited an old Valtonian by the name of Shani Krebs, who is the author of a top-selling autobiography about his life and the 18 years he spent in a Bangkok prison, and how art saved his life.
My name's Shani Krebs. I'm 61 years old. I was born in Mafeking, and then later on I moved to Vanderbijl Park, where I spent a lot of my childhood. I first started doing art when I was at school. I was quite talented from a very young age, and then after school I went to the army, and while I was at the army I started experimenting with marijuana, and then eventually I became a cocaine addict. And in between that I was involved in a shooting with a police officer, and I was charged with attempted murder. And then we decided that I should leave South Africa and just take a holiday. We decided to go to Thailand, and just prior to that, my guy who supplied me with cocaine was actually exporting China White from Thailand to New York. And he'd asked me on several occasions if I wanted to join him on this enterprise. But I said no, I wasn't interested, because heroin's a bad luck drug. But now that I had to go, have a holiday, I thought I'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So I told him, yeah, let's do something. Anyway, we ended up setting up a deal, cut a long story short, I was caught with 2.4 kilos of heroin leaving Thailand. I was given the death penalty, but because I pleaded guilty, my sentence was commuted to life imprisonment. So it was in prison that I first started expressing myself through art, and I didn't have any art supplies, so I took the bristles of a toothbrush and I attached that to a piece of bamboo, and I diluted coffee, and then I made other prisoners birthday cards for their kids. And after that, I met this one guy who was doing portraits for prisoners, pencil portraits, and I gave him a photograph of my sister and my niece, and it cost me a carton of cigarettes. And when he was done, for some obscure reason, I signed my name. And I don't know what possessed me to do that. And then I sent that home to my family. And about 2 months later, I got this registered envelope from home, and there were about 10 photographs in there of other family members, and they thought it was brilliant and I should draw everybody else. So I went to this guy and I said to him, I'm in trouble because I can't give you 10 cartons of cigarettes, so you're going to have to show me how you do this. Anyway, we sat down, he gave me a paper and a pencil, and that's how my journey in art started, and in fact saved my life. So what started off as just a means of escaping my reality helped me go through this whole process of rediscovering who I am. And through art I found purpose and a deeper meaning to life. When I think of my life in color, I think in extremities, from the color black to every color in the rainbow. The black color is the absence of color, and represents hardship and deprivation, as evident in some of my earlier paintings. For me, the color black symbolizes captivity and those dark, nightmarish years of prison life. From darkness emerges light. Through suffering, we learn gratitude, and from pain, we develop strength and understanding. I never felt more alive than when I was in prison. Initially, my art was a means of escaping my reality. Then with time, I went through a process of rediscovering who I am, and through my art I found a purpose and a deeper meaning to life. Art saved my life, realizing my dreams behind the very prison walls that physically bound me. Art is a journey that has changed me as a person and my life. So this was actually the first piece that I painted in the free world. I'm also extremely grateful to my family. I mean, my family stuck by me throughout my incarceration. I'm often asked, if I have any regrets in life, and I have to be honest that I really don't, because I had to go through all that stuff to be where I am today. But I think if I could have my life again, I would certainly do it without drugs.
Plaasmoorde is die afgelope ruk weer erg in die versuur van die land se media, veral na die moord op Brendan Honder op Senekal. Val driehoekers het op Swart Maandag 'n vreedsame protesoptog gehou op die R59 snelweg om 'n misnoë uit te spreek teenoor plaasmoorde. Christian Kloete was daar.
Ekskuus, sê geweer jou naam?
Kyle Pieterse.
Gail Pieterse, is jy van waar af is jy?
Ek is hier van Henley Klip af.
En jy is die organiseerder van hierdie ding vandag?
Ja, ek is die organiseerder vandag hierso.
Wat noem hulle dit?
Hulle noem dit Swart Maandag.
Okay.
Swart Maandag staan vir moorde oor die algemeen, maar veral ons plaasboere.
Ja.
Niemand weet regtig wat se impak die plaasboere het op ons mense nie. Tog is dit hulle wat vir ons sorg. Dit is hulle wat vir ons 'n bord kos verskaf 3 maal 'n dag. Sonder hulle is daar nie 'n bestaan in Suid-Afrika nie. En ons wil graag bewusmaking van moorde op boere, moorde op ons mense en moorde in die algemeen wil, ek weet nie hoe om dit te sê, opklaar. Ons soek dit nie meer nie. Ons is moeg. Ons is soos die boere sal sê ons is gatvol. En ja, ons wil 'n punt maak om te wys, ons gee om vir ons boere en ons gee om vir ons mense. Ons gee om vir ons land. En dit is absoluut wonderlik om te sien dat daar soveel mense bymekaar kan kom om te kan deel in so 'n inisiatief. Dit wys net weer eens, ons kan saam staan as ons moet saam staan. En ja, ek hoop dit gaan 'n reuse sukses wees.
Maar okay, sê net vir my die plan is julle gaan van die jag, verduidelik net van julle gaan van die jag vertrek en dan gaan julle hoe vinnig ry en met al daai goede.
Ja, ons gaan 9uur doen ons amptelike opening met gebed. Ons het so 'n bietjie iets anders in gedagte as die normale swart maandag. Na gebed vertrek ons stiptelik om 9:15. Ons gaan op die R59 gaan ons 'n stadige rit tot by Redan, oor die Redanbrug en dan kom ons terug. En ons hoop om die R59 tot 'n stilstand te bring. Al is dit net vir 'n minuut vir die boere ons mense wat nie meer met ons is.
Somertyd gelykstaande aan prettyd, veral op die Vaalrivier, maar veiligheid kom altyd eerste. Vir die volgende paar weke verskuif ons fokus na waterveiligheid en Etienne van Rensburg het meer gaan uitvind oor die watervleuel en die polisieduikers se ondankbare werk. Kyk gerus saam. Dames en here, dis aan die einde van ons eerste episode van Sê Jou Sê met Valk Weekblad. Baie dankie dat jy saam gekuier het. Ons hoop ons sien jou elke week weer terug hier op Facebook en op YouTube en kyk ook gerus na ons webtuiste valweekblad.com. Ons gesels weer volgende week saam op Sê Jou Sê.